Net neutrality is essentially a free and open and fair internet, one that enables access to all without favoring or blocking. It's the reason why you should be able to access YouTube just as fast as if you access one of their competitors. Without it, you could technically have a Comcast deciding, you know what, YouTube doesn't want to foot the bill for the, the really expensive fast road. Our users can get to our business associates website way faster. They're a video competitor to YouTube, and screw YouTube. YouTube gets the slow road. And that's where the FCC comes in, because existing FCC rules ban ISPs from blocking or throttling content.
I have had enough of this bullshit fear-mongering. If we just let corporations do whatever they want, then they'll just screw the people. Yeah, because that makes sense. Hey guys, let's piss off our customers by restricting access to their favorite servers and websites, because that will make them want to subscribe to our internet service. Look, I understand this fear of corporations having too much power, but it boggles my mind that nobody considers the other extreme. The concept that politicians and bureaucrats will use the power of law and government to fuck over the American people to further their political agenda. Well, that would never happen because the government works for the people and is motivated by the common good.
Right.
This logic drives me insane. Someone who runs a corporation is deemed completely untrustworthy, yet someone who heads a government bureaucracy gets complete benefit of the doubt.
Well, sounds like these people suffer from cognitive dissonance.
For a second, let's just set aside the fact that there's overwhelming historical precedent of governments mass murdering and enslaving their people in the name of social progress. Let's just look at the history of the Federal Communications Commission, which does serve a purpose in protecting property rights, don't get me wrong, but has also been used to monitor and control content on broadcast television and broadcast radio for decades, and has a history of punishing content creators, and has punished broadcast companies for not following bullshit rules. The FCC once hit up Univision for millions of dollars for not providing enough children's programming, because apparently broadcast companies are obligated to entertain children.
Oh, won't somebody please think of the children?
The FCC has fined shock jocks like Howard Stern and Bubba the Love Sponge and Tom Leykis multiple times, sometimes resulting in their programs getting pulled from select stations.
No, the commissioner has fined me millions of dollars for things that I've said.
Man, thank goodness for that benevolent FCC.
So the FCC won't let me be, or let me be me, so let me see.
Or how about that time the FCC fined CBS $550,000 for Janet Jackson's wardrobe malfunction during the Super Bowl? That's right, folks, $500,000 for just a nip slip. If you enjoy the occasional Fap to Bang Bros videos and Instagram models, you might want to tell the FCC to back off so you can jack off.
Just beat it, beat it, beat it, beat it, beat it, beat it.
The content regulations only apply to airwaves. They don't apply to subscription services like the internet. Is there really much of a difference between airwaves and cellular data at this point? What's really the difference between a television set and a smartphone? Any kid with a smartphone can access all the pornography they want so long as they have decent reception and the parental controls are disabled. You don't think some shithead at the FCC will use this fact as an excuse to regulate content on the internet? Again, why do we give unlimited trust to people that head government bureaucracies?
What can possibly go wrong?
Fuck it, let's just give the FCC complete control over the internet. It's not like people just threw a bitch fit over the FCC investigating Stephen Colbert for indecency over his recent Donald Trump jokes. But all of this aside, let's say in an open and free market, if an ISP decided to stupidly restrict access to certain websites, what's stopping someone like Philip DeFranco from starting his own ISP that doesn't discriminate against any websites or servers while making money in the process?
Not a goddamn thing.
Perhaps maybe a locally government-granted monopoly might stop someone like Philip DeFranco from starting his own internet service provider. So wouldn't it be more wise to encourage people to speak out against locally government-granted monopolies and write their city council people and write their mayor to demand demand more competition into the marketplace? Nah, let's just trust the FCC to fix everything because they've never fucked anything up.
Here at the FCC, it's our job to eliminate illegal radio stations and inappropriate language.
By the way, wasn't Philip DeFranco complaining about YouTube demonetization recently?
There are so many. I went through and I have 3 pages of demonetized videos or videos I have to submit appeals on it's often where I'm just talking about hate groups and with the disgusting things they had to do and the outcry against them. And there was more news that there were more advertisers that pulled advertising off of YouTube. Obviously, this is frustrating for me, but who I really get worried about are the up-and-comers. The new voices that are up and coming, they're getting those 100,000, 200,000 views here and there. It's those people who are often working check to check and can be completely derailed by a deviation like this.
Yeah, wait until YouTube starts getting fines from the FCC and booting controversial voices, much like what happened to radio during the 80s and 90s. Wait until all of these up-and-comers that you're so concerned about get completely discouraged by bullshit FCC decency standards. Even if an ISP decides to restrict access to certain websites or provide fast lanes to certain servers, so what? Is it a dick move? Perhaps, but they have every right to run their business however they please, just as you have every right to cancel your internet subscription. What you don't have the right to do is use the power of government to tell ISPs how to run their business. We call that fascism! And again, to be clear, I do think the FCC does serve an important role. I'm all for the FCC protecting property rights and arbitrating disputes over IP addresses, domain names, and all that sort of stuff. But other than that, I say fuck the FCC, fuck these locally government-granted monopolies, and let's leave the internet the fuck alone. And finally, I suggest shutting your mouth before the FCC shuts it for you. Hold up, one more thing. Phil, you've been able to have this career on YouTube because the internet has been largely unregulated. You've been able to post whatever you want on YouTube without getting an FCC license for $250,000 or how much ever it costs. And now you're trying to close the door behind you on future creators in the name of fairness with your bullshit net neutrality? Yeah, go fuck yourself.